All right, all right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so this is bonus general message part two. Part one was getting really long, and I still felt like we were leaving it on a bit of a cliffhanger. What I will say is, and I just now thought of this, Ingrid, good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you for joining me in part two also. One of the things that just struck me as I was, firing this part two up is I began the story by saying my dog did like a victory lap, but he made sure that he like gave a hello woof to everyone yesterday. And I'm just realizing that that kind of fits in with our story because in part one we were talking about a twin flame, a divine connection, that two people have been apart largely, well, exclusively due to the fact that we'll call it the divine masculine because that's what kept coming up in the story, but a divine masculine had been puppeted by something pretty toxic. They were given some decent advice to clean up the mess that they had before trying to actually be in a union so that the union can be full and wholehearted instead of some yo-yoing back and forth, some, 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of energy. And so it's almost like what I was describing with my dog, doing a loop, but calling out like, I'll be back. And then not actually returning for a period of time. Well, this is their return. We saw it over and over again. So I left us on a cliffhanger because I said, okay, so how do they approach now that this whole story has been about them on their way back to her? And they have shown up as a Knight of Cups 3 times. They are riding forward, they are driving, they are traveling. I do feel definitely like they've had to travel to get to her. And I do feel like it's been quite an elapse of time. So at this point, the fact that they are here and asking, will you allow me to explain? That's where we left things. So we didn't get her response yet. Her, him, doesn't matter. I don't read for genders, but let's go ahead and ask what is her response? That was a really shabby shuffle, but I'll take it. So we have a 10 of Wands in the reverse. We have the Lovers, and we have the Page of Swords. Well, this is not what I expected at all. Hey, Ruth. Hi, C. How are you, sweetie? It's really interesting because it actually says that her response is, I knew you were going to fly back into my life at some point. I knew it. She may hug them immediately, and she may be saying, I've felt you watching me. Have you been watching me? I've felt your approach. I've known something changed in your world. I've known something. I'm surprised we don't have like a high priestess card or something like that out right now, because we see she's almost saying, I knew that you were going to return. Birds are migratory. And this could even be like, my guides told me that, whatever her guides may be. She could just be saying, I just sensed it. I knew that there was, if you've learned the things you needed to and graduated, I knew that you would be looking back at me. You'd be realizing that if I was ever your wish come true, and if you ever got stuff sorted out, then you would look me up. I mean, it may be that she's saying it as simple as that. That might sound a little cocky on her part, but I don't think so. I mean, Queen of Wands, she says, look, I looked back over my shoulder and thought about you a lot too. A Queen of Wands only chooses what they want. They are very self-possessed. They have good sense of self. She might even be saying, in and out attitude would never have worked with me. I wouldn't have tolerated anything but everything. Anyone who's with me has to give me everything. They can't they can't give me 3/4 of themselves. They have to give me 100% of their attention, their love, their energy, all of it. Or I would have turned my back on you anyway. So I figured if I wasn't pleased with the way you were treating me, I wasn't going to put up with you anyway. She didn't take them being out of her life as like, oh my God, they've left me. I'm not good enough. She's like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm not going to be treated like anybody's, like I'm not here to make your life good while you're still dealing with other crap. You get your crap done, and then you deal with me and me only. Like a Queen of Wands. It doesn't mean they're not understanding, but they will not accept something that lowers what they view as their right. It's It's like, if I'm going to give you 100%, you better give me 100%. Now, if I'm only going to give you 50%, fine. I don't ask more than 50% from you either. They'll be fair, but they'll be very straightforward. This says, she is saying with all confidence, yeah, I'm glad to see you. Are you here to give me 100%? Because if you're not, then, we're not interested. We, the royal we, is not interested. But I thought about you. Sure, I look back over my shoulder. Sure, I thought about you. That's how I know you were thinking about me too. Probably every time I thought about you is the times you were thinking about me. I just knew it. But I wasn't about to come calling on you. With this Chariot in the reverse. This is like, there is no part of her that was ever, how do I explain this? Okay, this is a queen who said, the only way that anything would ever work, since you were the one who didn't give me enough, and you were the one who kind of just dipped out, left me wondering what the heck was going on. So I told you, I'm moving on and I'm going to be happy without you. I really meant it. So the only way anything would ever work is if you come find me, because I would never, even if I think about you from time to time, there would never be a time in this lifetime that I would ever come seeking you out. Why? Because you know what you need to offer me. And if you can't do it, there's no point in me knocking on your door. Hey, are you ready to give me what I deserve yet? No? Okay, I'll come back tomorrow. This queen does not operate that way. So I think that's the other reason she's very bluntly saying right out of the gate, yeah, it's great to see you. I mean, honestly, if you've got a whole bunch of things to tell me, wonderful. Now, if not, if you're just here to waste my time, you can skedaddle. But I'm guessing you showed up on my porch, or you showed up here at the top of my stairwell, or you showed up here for a reason. So what is it that you showed up here for? I'll hear you out. Of course I will. I want to hear you out. I want to hear something that's worthy of my ears. Isn't this an interesting twist? So 6 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. I would argue this is definitely worthy of her ears. I think it's an interesting twist because all too often in these stories where there's like separation, it almost always puts it to where it's like one person's out here longing and crying and wishing, and the other person's gone, and then they have to like, it almost puts them in this position of like, my life has this great huge hollow until you come back to me and bring the sun back into my life. And I love the fact that this is like, are you freaking kidding me? I own the sun. I am the sun. I'm a queen of wands. I literally, my life does not have a gaping hole in it without you. But if you're here to complement my life, yeah, why would I not want that? I'll always advocate for what's in my best interest. But at no point must you ever believe that I somehow can't function without you, because I can. She is not any, and this is somebody who can say, sure, I can love you. I can love you for the rest of my life, always remember you, and still say, if you're a scoundrel, you're a scoundrel. I would never want you back if that's all you are. On the other hand, if you're coming in to give me everything and you're not a scoundrel and you're honorable, heck yeah, it's go time. She doesn't have low self-esteem. And I think that's why she's able to fully embrace this if they're coming in to truly be present, if they're coming in to truly, work on things with her. And I would also probably argue with her, look, if we didn't see 7 of Swords, we didn't see deceptive energy, we did see the devil, but we didn't see them lying, cheating, running around. We saw fear, and we saw somebody puppeting them. We saw that they'd made poor choices prior to having met her. If they had been messing around behind her back and, mistreating her, there's no way this card would be in the upright and she would be accepting anything from them. A Queen of Wands doesn't. Queen of Wands, if they were fooling around behind her back, she would not be having this conversation with them. So in this storyline, we have kind of like a safety zone here where, yes, they had mistakes they'd made prior to meeting her, but they didn't try to disrespect her. And I think that's a really important point. That's the only reason this connection can come back into a union. They really are soulmates in this storyline. They really do want to work together and build something so solid. This is not somebody who's bringing her, like a bouquet of cut flowers. This is somebody who's saying, I want to build, a statue of a flower out of brick. I want something permanent with you. I want a lifetime together with you. I want us to be happy and collaborate all the time. I'm here to make something concrete with you. So this is very important, that they're coming in this energy, because again, I don't think this Queen of Wands would have accepted anything less. Of course, I'm hearing the song "She's a Brick House." She's mighty, mighty. Just because we got the bricks here and we've got a Queen of Wands, and that's such a great way to describe a Queen of Wands. Somebody who's just like a force to be reckoned with. You don't mess around with a Queen of Wands. You don't mess around with any of the queens, but particularly her, because she'll tell you where it's at. You will be out of her life faster than you'll be left dizzy, like you got off the tilt-a-whirl. Like she doesn't put up with anything. So is this going to be successful then? Because right now it's looking pretty darn sweet. It's looking pretty darn good for these two. It's looking like marriage. We got the Hierophant and the Strength card. To have Leo and to have Taurus here, you notice that I'm going to go ahead and say it this way. Her guides in particular, she could be very much a mystic or very much somebody who's tapped into intuition. And she's saying, I knew when I first met them, I was going to marry them. I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. I just knew at some point they are a part of my tree of life. Now, she may have had an inkling that, because you notice how she's sitting way up in the tree off in a branch, not down here at the base, not on some of the lower branches. She might have even said, I already knew when I met them that the tree of life was going to have to keep growing, and it would be a little later on when I end up with them. The day that I marry them, I knew it would not be right when I met them, not right when we planted seeds. And I might have even known that, you notice how there's multiple branches. She might even be acknowledging, I knew that ours would be a relationship that was going to have to allow there to be space and time, even time apart, before we were going to get to this. If I'm honest, I knew that right from the beginning. And I knew it was going to be a love that would test me and maybe test you and test the strength of this connection. Are we supposed to be together? If so, then there would be, at no point in time would we not be continuously working toward getting back to each other. Maybe my test was, can I be strong enough to not come chasing you and instead say, the only way that I can be with a person that I love is if they genuinely love me enough to make changes, to be in a healthy relationship with me. I have to, if my test was to make sure that I have enough self-respect or the dignity that I need to have to keep moving forward in my life, even though I may think about someone, but I won't try to insist that something has to be on my timeline. If it's not healthy and in my greatest and highest good, I must be able to carry on. So I'm feeling like that was her test of strength. And theirs was, if I love this person the way I say I do, even if I can't be with her now, instead of sitting back twiddling my thumbs being like, well, man, my life's a mess, can't be with her. No, maybe I do have a mess, but to be with her, I got to fix my mess. There's no guarantees I get to be with her, but I still got to fix my mess, or I'm never going to have a shot at all with her. And I know that. So it's like they had to have the strength to do the thing that they had to. I'm not going to say to make her proud. That's not it at all. It's so that they could actually live a better quality of life. Because being controlled by the devil is not ever going to be a good quality of life. At least I don't see how that could be a good quality of life. Again, feel free to disagree, but I don't think that, who wants to be a puppet at all and have anybody pulling the strings. So I feel like this character, regardless of whether or not she was going to say yes to them, is almost irrelevant, because their life is going to get better regardless. If they do the work, get themselves out of the clutch of the devil and become autonomous, that's going to behoove them no matter what. That's going to be in their greatest and highest good. But it's also the only pathway to which they could be with her. So everybody wins in this story. Why? Because they did the hard thing. They had the strength and the courage to say, I know what this test is. I know what I have to do. I know that she could have tried to accept them where they were at, but she probably would have been really unhappy. She probably would have felt really bad about herself because she was accepting less than what she knew she deserved or less than what she wanted. We can choose to settle in a toxic situation, or we can do the really hard thing that says, this sucks, but I can't be with a toxic situation. I can't. I have to let it go. And it is hard. And she waited patiently for a long time and then said, no, 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 no. So I think she was patient. She was kind because there was love there. But at some point, it's like, no, no, this is not okay. It has to be healthy or I can't have it at all. That takes a lot of discipline, I think, anyway. I can see why this was such a strong message to be able to say, I want this, but it's a mess. Now, how do I get it? Oh, God, I got to do all this hard stuff. All right, here we go. Let's do the hard work. It's so well worth it because they get the good life after all. This is worthy of well, anything in life is it's worthy to have the best possible quality of life we can create for ourselves. It's worthy to try to fix the mistakes and the fumbles that we have along the way, because who's going to benefit? We are. If we have mistakes and problems, it'll always be in our greatest and highest good to respect ourselves, to do the hard work, to get our lives sorted back out. Life is imperfect. We're imperfect. We're going to make mistakes, but all this whole storyline says, but it's so worth it when we go ahead and take the hard road and fix things. And even if it is hard, the payoff is my quality of life is going to be better. Whether or not I get the ultimate prize at the end of it, which is the lover that I want to be with, that's not my main motive for doing it. Not really. I'm still going to end up with a better quality of life if I free myself from toxicity. So I'm going to do this anyway. But in this story, it is also because of love. It is. Both of these characters acted on behalf of love. They end up together. That's beautiful. Good for them. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Dolly. Be hot. Good to see you, hun. Anonymous, for you. Good to see you. Oh, I'm not doing free stories right now. I did that last night. So anytime that I go live, if I specify in the title, I'll say, if you want to enter to get a free read with me as a subscriber, then you type the letter E in. But otherwise, no. I'll always tell you in the title if I'm doing that, so there's no confusion. Okay. No harm in trying though. Anyway, and you guys, thank you everybody who hung out with me last night. I was live for about an hour. I think it was from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock last night. We did free reads, for free 1-card pulls for subscribers. I do that from time to time. We'll do it a lot more in December. So you guys will have another opportunity. But thank you guys, everybody. So happy that you're here. And I will see you guys in the next. Yeah, Ruben, good to see you. Hi, Nancy. Susan, hello. Nancy, hang tight because we'll do a Virgo story today as well. And I also have to get to, I'm going to do like a group story. Well, it'll be one video, but segmented out for my Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. I'm going to do that one next, actually. So I'll see you guys in the next go round. All right, take care. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye for now. Hi, April.